we'll give you the website and everything here in a little bit. So we're going to go into framing, standard frames. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to look at. Let's see. So I'm going to do these last. Hang on. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to show you all of our standard frames one by one. And then if you have any questions at any point about any of them, or you want to see something again, let me know. Framing can be very complicated and intimidating. So feel free to ask anything, because it can be a lot at times. So our standard, we have two framing lines, I guess. We have a standard frame line and then a premium frame line. So the standard frame line is the line that's a little more decorative, a little more maybe traditional, has a little more, yeah, I guess just decorative. There's more texture and things like that. So they're all wood, and they have like a veneer over top that creates the effect with them. And they come from different companies that we use, but we're, yeah, so we introduced these about a year ago, and then we've added on some this fall. And then we're also going to introduce 5 new ones today that we'll have available soon. And there's actually 2 more that aren't here yet. They were back ordered, but we'll have even 2 more new ones coming that we'll email everybody about. So yeah, so we'll probably do a lot of top-down stuff with this. I'm wondering if I should do it this way. So this is our Charlotte frame. So this is a very popular to it. It's a little distressed, I would say. It's kind of white. But it's very, very popular. We have a lot we'll go through. We have Charlotte. Here's a newer that we install. So this one is called Madison. I always think of kind of like a nursery type frame. It's got these kind of beading on the inside of it. It has a curvature to it. I'm trying to hope you guys can see this. This is probably our brightest white frame. Here's another in the fall, November. So this one's called Adelaide. It's really pretty. It's got, I don't know what you would call this. It's like a ribbing, or like these squares around the edges, and this kind of groove on the inside of those. It's also white. It's just a slight distressed look. So we have a lot of these that are distressed, so they're kind of have little marks and things on them, but that's completely normal. It's supposed to have a slightly older feel to it. Here's another newish one, very popular. Kelly Jones, this photographer in Florida, she's selling this stuff really through us. It's much thicker compared to, let's say, the Adelaide, just as for comparison's sake. These are actually kind of the same frame family. But so this is Helena, is the big one. But it's heavy. So you can kind of see the thickness comparison. Whoop. This is definitely a piece kind of overplace or that likes traditional framing. Charleston. Okay, so we had a couple questions about the Helena frame. Is that right?
What is the width on Helena?
Well, with like close to 3 inches, we can get a measuring tape to make sure. I don't have all of these memorized exactly, so one second, I'll tell you exactly what it is. Got my Chiefs tape, by the way. So it's 2 3/4. 2 3/4, and height-wise, it's almost 2 inches. It's a little less than 2 inches off the wall. Just hang on to it.
What size image would you recommend framing in the Helena? It looks so thick.
Yeah, well, we just got done finished framing like a 30 by 45, which looked amazing, but it was super heavy. But we've also done a couple small, I don't know, I guess we don't have a small in here, but we've also done like 11 by 14s, and they look really, really pretty. I mean, it's definitely heavier around the image, but I think it looked really beautiful. So I think for us framing, like, we'd really recommend framing stuff that's like 11 by 14 and larger, really. That's because it's going to be on the wall. But we did one recently, and I thought it looked totally fine in the Helena. Any other ones?
I have a general question. Do you offer sample frame edges for purchase to use as examples?
Yes. And we should have a link for that, Andy. Yeah, so you can buy frame corners at musealab.com/corners. Add the new ones we're going to show in a little bit, but definitely any of the there, .com/corners. Yep.
And if you want to do one more question.
Yeah, questions. Let's go.
Do you know when standard frames will be added to ProSelect?
I know we have just not done that yet. I don't know. We want to do it in February, hopefully. We got December just was like just this huge amount of volume of orders we've never experienced before, which was amazing, but it also was like all hands on deck. And so getting stuff into ProSelect is a little bit of a side project for us at times. So we should, now that we're getting past after this, we'll get past this, and we should be a lot more caught up where we can accomplish that in February, especially since we have the new frames coming that are all standard. We need to get those in there anyway. So really going to try February. Any other questions or no? You're good? Okay. Did we go through the Charleston? I'm trying to remember. If not, we'll look at it again. So this is the Charleston. It has a bit of a glossy sheen to it, but it's also kind of a weathered wood. It almost has like a painterly, kind of paintbrush type marks on it. But it's, yeah, squared off. Let's see. So this is Naples. This is a very shiny metallic if somebody really wants something with a lot of shine or gloss to it. This is a great one. Let's see. We've got Athens, which is gold. One of our more ornate ones that we have. More traditional, more classic, but it's still thin enough that it's the thinness gives it a slight modern feel, I would say. Let's see. Let's look at some other gold ones. We've got this Venetian gold. We sell a ton of this stuff. It's a great blend of like modern because of the thinness, the ribbing. So it's a really good balance between modern and traditional. It's not overly traditional, but it's not overly modern either. So we have frame in silver. So it's kind of a warm silver tone. Same width, same everything. A lot of this one too. It's really, really pretty. Here's another gold one. Geneva. No, Corinth, sorry. Geneva's a silver. But this has a black outside. And then gold face with kind of black distressing. So it's a little wider than the Venetian gold, but so it leans a little more traditional, I would say. This is a silver version of that. This is the Geneva. So it also has the black edge. Let's see. Trying to do these by color type. This is Albany, so it is a white, kind of distressed corner, but it's got this like really shiny silver on the inside. So it's kind of a mix of like distressed wood and metal. So it's really, really, really pretty. So this is a Corinth. This is also this one wider than barely. This is more of like a bronze, I would say. Still has distressing. For any clients that want something a little more traditional. Any other questions so far? Are we still good?
There was a question in chat if we offered frames with kickstand backing for smaller frames.
We don't. Yeah, so if you're looking for like a tabletop frame or something, we don't. So everything we do is meant for being put on the wall. So yeah, we don't have any tabletop framing. We have some stuff with albums though that would work for that we'll show you later. That it's not a frame, but if you want something that you can sit on and stand up, basically. So this one is so it's really tall. It's 2 inches. It's black slash kind of silver highlight on the inside. But so it's more modern, but it has that slight metal touch of metal inside of there. Savannah is a like barnwood style frame, so if you're looking for something rustic, it's really great. It'll have notches and things like that. But it's really nice. Another distressed one we have is Hartford. It's definitely more of a, but it's very distressed as well. Let's that yeah, brown wood grain as well. So again, really another great, really rustic option. Richmond, which is kind of a middle gray tone, distressed. It has distressing along 7, and then kind of a sides. But it's definitely slash rustic, you could say, if that's a category. Is that all the standard ones? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to show off some new ones. Before I show new ones, any other questions?
I have a question that wasn't in the question box, but it's in chat.
Okay.
All frames are wood, no metal options?
They're not we don't have any frames that are made of metal, like a veneer top looks like. But yeah, we don't have any actual metal frames right now. Any other ones? Are we good?
That's all the framing questions right now.
Okay. All right. So we're going to show you the five new frames. These will be coming into their software soon. So here is. So we're calling this one Sydney. It's an off-white, has a very deep kind of recess with the silver highlights along the interior. So it has a bit of a distressing. The back has this kind of 45-degree, which is. I was also going to show you guys this, but this is when we join ours, we do dovetails versus underpinning. Doesn't necessarily matter, but a lot of labs don't take the time to do that because it's a little slower and a little more custom. But this is me on the. That's coming soon. Here's another one. Chelsea is what we're calling this one. A little warmer than the Sydney. Tones in it. Still has some distressing, but has a more bold silver interior lip. It's a little shallower, but it has a nice curve on the outside of the frame. All right, three more. So it's definitely more of a metallic kind of scoop front. So this is still wood, but it would look very much, still has a very metallic feel to it. Off the wall, it's going to be deeper for more impact visually. I would say it's probably a little more contemporary is how I would describe that one. Two more. So this one is Alexandria. Gallery rooms where you go to smoke cigars or something. I don't know. It's got this kind of wood engraving on the outside. Wood grain and texture on the inside. Scooped on the edges. But definitely pretty darker option. And the last gold, Vienna is what we're going to call this one. It has some, I don't know, it's almost like a dark blue-gray color that's inside the lip with kind of the decoration on the inside. But it's kind of fluted on the outside as well. But it'll be another gold option for people coming soon. It's a little more on the traditional side. So those are the five new ones, and we have two other ones that are coming that just aren't here yet. Let's do, before we get into premium frames, next to Matt, we'll do the three framing styles that we have. So we'll set up some easels. Questions?
Yeah. So none of these are through the question.
Okay.
Do you make your own frames in-house?
Do we make our own frames in-house? We buy the stick in length, so like 5 feet to 10 feet long lengths, and then we do all of the, we cut everything here, we do all of the dovetailing here, all the corners here, do all the finishing here, we do all the blade cutting here, but we don't do the, we're not like milling the wood and sanding it and spraying it, that kind of stuff. So but we do buy the links and cut it down here. So we're not buying them pre-joined from the frame molding company. So if you have click ask about that chat, bring up onto the can see, but that was asking about. Oh, the question, asking a question thing. Okay, so if you have a question, click the ask button at the bottom of the chat box. That way we can bring the question up onto the screen so everybody watching can see what the question was. But we had a question inside the chat that was asking about if we made our own frames. So it's just trying to explain that process. What else we got?
And then do we ever loan out frame corner samples?
We do not. So somebody asked if we have a loan corner sample program. We don't. We just have them for sale. So you can just buy some as you want at musealab.com/corners. So you would own them. Any other one? Or is that it? Okay. Well, you can look. All right. So let's set this up. So the next I'm going to walk you through. So if you go to order a frame from us, I want to kind of visually show the 3 options we have. I'm trying to do this where you're not getting a bunch of glare. So this is our Venetian gold for one. Okay. Yep. Yeah, you set that there. I'll set this one here, I think would be good. Is that going to look? Trying to look at myself here in the monitor. Let me move this one. Okay, so we're going to get 3 frames and show you the 3 options. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So this is where math can get a little heavy at times. Okay, so when you go to order a frame print from us, I got this huge softbox. Okay, there we go. You're going to have 3 options. So you're going to add a print to your cart, and you're going to go through the drop-down menus, and you're going to have some choices. And so the choices are going to be no mat, 2-inch mat, or a 4-inch mat. So how we do framing is we start with the print size and we build out from there. We do not start with the frame size and build in. The reason we do that is because we want to give you as much control as possible as a photographer. If we're starting with the frame size and shrinking down, what happens is you're getting into some really weird cropping ratios if you want to keep even borders on all 4 sides. And so you lose control of your cropping, and you can create some weird cropping issues that we want to avoid. So what we do is we let you control the exact print how you want it, which is typically how framing is done. If somebody goes to a local framer, they're taking a print to them and they're framing that and they're building outwards from the print. They're not starting with the frame and going in because the artwork's already been made and produced. So I just wanted to visually show that. So the example I have up here is 10 by 10 print in the options. So you can do a 10 by 10 no mat, and so we mount the print onto our PVC board, 3mm PVC board, and we put spacers on the inside of the frame so that the print won't touch the acrylic. And so that's to avoid humidity in the print. If humidity gets in there, the print would stick to the acrylic, and then if you try to remove it, it would tear off. So that's what the spacers are for. But this is the no mat option. If you do a 2 mat, this is a 2-inch mat option. So it's 10-inch print and 2 inches on all 4 sides. So the frame opening would actually be 14 by 14. So it's going to take up more wall space, but the print is the same size. And then the other option we have is a 4-inch mat. So still 10 by 10 print, 4-inch mat. So the frame becomes an 18 by 18. And so pricing wise, these are all priced exactly the same. So you don't have to worry about that. You start with, all of our framing is based on print size, and then you choose what goes outside of it. And that's priced all the same. So you do have options of museum acrylic or standard acrylic with our framing. I think this one is a museum acrylic here. You can kind of tell because the glare is like has a slight kind of green tint to it, where this one, I'll put it next to it. Oh, that one's also museum acrylic. Which one's not? One of these did not. I think it's this one. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. So this one is our standard acrylic. So I'm trying to get a good, using that huge softbox as an example. So you can see the glare, how much glare is reduced. It's showing the softbox that we're using to light this. So you can see through the glare in this one even, where the one with the standard acrylic, it can kind of block it out. Let me see. It's not quite as transparent. You don't need the museum acrylic if the frame is going to be in a place where there's not a lot of glare. But if you're opposite of a window or something like that, then museum acrylic would be a really great choice to, just reduce the glare. It's also 99% UV protecting. The standard acrylic is 92%. So they're both really, really great. And the acrylics we use, a lot of people don't know this, but acrylics come in like 7 different qualities. It's a lot. So a lot of people hear acrylic and they think, oh, it's cheap. But a lot of times it's just because they have gotten a cheap piece of acrylic from somewhere else, and it's like super thin and it's wavy and it's just not good. But not all acrylic is created equal, and so we use 2 of the best on the market. So the museum acrylic is the best you will find on the market, and the standard acrylic is like just one step down from there.
I have a question about.
Yeah, question.
Will you ever offer a 3-inch matting option?
You can do 3-inch mat if you want. You just all you have to do is just type it in the order notes. So it would be the same price as a 2-inch or 4-inch. But if you want a 3-inch, just request it, and we can totally do it. We have people that ask, like, can you do 2.75 or stuff like that. So as long as it's in between like 0 and 4, we can do it. We really don't like doing a 1-inch mat because it gets really thin. We can do it for straight edge prints. We don't like doing it for deckled edge that thin because we have to make the opening even bigger. So really you're getting into like a 3/4 inch. It's just too thin. So we really like 2-inch, 3-inch, or 4-inch, and anything in between. So if you want us to bottom weight it or anything, just put it in the order notes. So we'll have people that do say, 3-inch bottom weight, but 2 inches on the top, bottom, and sides. Like, we can do that. So just use the order notes, and you can kind of customize it. It doesn't change the price at all. It just lets us know how you want to take ours and tweak it.
That's a question we've also had. I know you answered it, but just to reiterate, are all 3 priced exactly the same?
Yep, they're all priced the same. So they use different materials and things, but we try to simplify pricing. We used to have it where it was all different, but it was just like way too many numbers for everybody. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible for people. Yep. Any other questions?
A question about acrylic. It's not in the question box, but what's the best way to clean?
Yeah, so acrylic. So you do not want to clean it with Windex and a paper towel because you can scratch it. Museum acrylic has a abrasion resistant coating. Actually, both of ours have an abrasion resistant coating now that I think about it. Our standard acrylic and the museum acrylic have an abrasion resistant coating, but I still wouldn't use a paper towel on it. All you need to do is just get a soft micro cloth, and it just needs to be just a little bit damp, just with water, and you can clean it. And then you can take a dry microfiber cloth and just dry it off. That's all you need. Yep, good question though. Any other ones? You good?
I have a question about, it's not in the question, about scoring on the mat. It's indicated in order.
Scoring on the mat is the question. Do you like a V groove, or what's scoring mean? I guess if you can maybe be a little more specific. We do not offer V grooves right now. We've tried it on our museum mat boards, but they're so soft that the shavings curl off and then they get indented back into the surface of the mat. So we would need to find a specific mat board to do it that would be harder, essentially. And that might put us outside of a mat board that's 100% cotton, which is usually the standard that we have. Any other? Okay, cool. Let's go to premium frames really quick. So our premium frame line, Matt, let's grab a couple frames also. So our premium frame line, which I also have on the wall behind me, these here, they're all made in the USA. They're made with sustainably sourced. They're actually real wood. So we have 4 species. We've got maple, ash, cherry, walnut. So you can just put it there. It just means that they actually have to go and harvest the trees. So if you're getting a cherry frame from us, they actually have to go and cut down a cherry tree and mill it, sand it, and stain it. The standard frame line tends to be made overseas. It's a little more mass produced. That's why they're more affordable. Where these are all made in the U.S. by, wood craftsmen, essentially. They're classic. They're never going to go out of style. These are the type of frames you can put in a home, and 100, 200 years from now, they're still going to be amazing. They're modern, more of a gallery, museum type frame that you would see in a lot of photography exhibits. So we'll just go through the wood types real quick so you can see these. First, we have maple. Our premium frame, so we have a 3/4 width and a 1.5 quarter width. Is it? Okay. Which part? The widths?
Our premium, 2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the premium frames have 2 widths. We have the 3/4 width and the 1.5 inch width. And so if you order frame corners, you get both of these. And if you're ordering these in our system, you will have to choose which one you want. We've done a frame like this big one over here. This is the 3/4. And that's a 20 by 30 print with a 4-inch mat. It's a Nirav Patel image. So it ends up being a 28 by 38 frame. But that's the 3/4. So it's very modern and simple. So we've done big, small. Okay, so here's the maple and the white maple. We've got satin black maple. These are new for us. We just launched in the fall. These are a gray. So we have a light gray maple and a medium gray maple. So these are all maple wood. Trying to get it all here. That's our maple line. The maple has really doesn't show any wood texture at all. Very modern, clean. So this is the light gray maple here, which is a new one for us that a lot of people aren't probably aware of that we offer, but hopefully this 2021 we'll see more of these rolling through, but it's really, really, really nice. It's very soft, I think, in terms of the feel. Cool. Really great, I think, for black and white as well. Okay, so those are the maples. All right, so let's go ash. So we have our rising white ash. Our This is a new one here. We just released a couple months ago. Whitewash ash. Ash is really great because it shows the wood grain more than maple does. So if you want a little wood grain, this is a really great option. I don't think that's ash. Which one is it? This one's ash. So this is our satin black ash. So you have a satin black ash, a dark gray maple, a whitewash, rising white. I don't know if we can, if you do a top down, if you can see the grain on that. So there you go, you can see the grain in that type of angle there. Where the maple doesn't have that. Oh, I forgot these. This is a maple I forgot. Sorry. This is oil and wax maple. We've got 3 new oil and wax ones, which are great because you actually see the wood grain. Maple is smooth. It's just like super smooth. But with the oil and wax, you can actually see the colors of the wood grain, which is nice. Oil and wax maple. Let's go cherries. So we've got oil and wax cherry. We have a black cherry. Is this antique cherry? And then this is an aged cherry. Ignored the asymmetrical frame corner. So, trying to where we can see these better. So yeah, oil and wax cherry, black cherry, aged cherry, and antique cherry. The antique cherry is very red. The black cherry is almost black, but it's just like has a subtle, rich warmness to it. Aged cherry is more of an orangey color, and then the oil and wax is just definitely a great natural wood tone. Start back over here. All right, so the last one is walnut. So we've got 4 of these. Make sure I get these on the screen for you. So oil and walnut, new personal favorite. It's really cool. Like just gorgeous. So oil and wax, special dark walnut. This is extremely popular for us. This is a dark brown, of a red. This is satin black one, just black. But you still, with walnut, you still see the grain. Ebony walnut. Seeing some of the subtle differences will probably be hard over live stream versus seeing them in person, but the ebony is almost like, it has a slight translucent finish to it. So it's a little more brown than the satin black. So in person you can tell, but it might be a little hard to do that. Here's an example of a framed print we just did in our new oil and wax. This is another Nirav Patel image. It's an 8x12 print with a 4-inch mat border. So it ends up being a 16x20 frame opening, but this is that 1.5 inch wide frame. And I was going to show you kind of how we do the backing on our frames, just so you can see. So we do beehive hangers, the stickers, just so I know what it is. It doesn't know, not normally there. But we got the wall bumpers and the beehive hangers, and then our backing material. So, but that's what it looks like. There we go. We got any other premium frames over there, or no?
Got lots of, not corners, but
Oh, lots of frames. Okay. So yeah, we've got some other frames we made. I'll just show off real quick. Let's do another, maybe award winner.
I've got some questions.
Okay, hang on. Questions. Sorry, we'll do questions.
So our first question are the standard frames solid wood too, or is the frame down?
The standard frames a native species, so it's probably a little more of like a composite wood, or it could be like an MDF type of thing. It's wood, but it's not like 100% walnut or 100% anything. It's kind of a mix of different types of woods that's put together to make the molding, and then they veneer. Then they veneer on top of that.
So the next question, what's a beehive hanger?
Beehive hangers are life-changing. So another. So beehive hangers are awesome because it saves marriages. You don't have to fight over getting stuff perfectly centered. I'll put this down on the table. That would be easier, probably, Andy. So beehive hanger, maybe I should do it this way. Hang on. In the middle is a little sharp kind of barb, and then it's got all these holes in it, and so all you do is you hold the frame up to, maybe pan up here, Andy, so that you hold the frame up to a wall where you want to put it. Once you all you have to do is kind of eyeball it level, and then you just push in on the corners to mark it with those barbs, and then they have these little anchor tools that we have, and you just hammer those in where the marks were, and then you can just move the frame around to either get it level or move it up higher. So like if you're doing a gallery wall, it's great because if you're off 1/8 of an inch, you can just, instead of putting a new hole in, move the frame up. It's got holes. Show you. We'll try to see if I can do this without knocking anything over. So like here, purposely kind of making it unlevel. But these are all things you don't have to. You can just basically just move it back up, wherever you want it, to different heights. So they're very easy, and they're like my favorite thing ever. We used to do wires, but the wire, so on a wire here and then go across, But the wire, over time, especially large frames, all the weight is on that one pressure point. The beehive is about the distribution. Doing that, your corner, all the weight is right in here, and it's pulling in on the sides. So the beehive hanger alleviates all that, and so you don't have the risk of the corners gapping over time. So another benefit of the beehive hangers, which are awesome. Oh, let me show this too. I don't think I showed this. I just showed you the back. This is actually a black cherry frame. 4-inch mat, 12/18 print.
So,
Yep.
hanger.
A lot. I mean, we've never had one fall, and we've had some frames that are, I don't know, 35, 40 pounds.
Goes with another question. How big
So.
do you frame?
Matted, really like a 30 by 45 print with like a 4-inch mat is kind of our max. Go a smidge bigger if you email this and wanted to, but really 30 by 45. If you're not doing a mat, we could do a 40 by 60 print mounted in one of the premium frames, because those are made to order, so we could get them in longer lengths essentially, but we can't mat it. It has to be a 40 by 60 mount, no mat would be the absolute max.
And then
Any of them? How to display frame corners. Gosh, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people, it depends on what you're doing. Like a lot of people we've seen, if you have your own studio, they will just have them laying on a table of some sort. Usually it's like a coffee table, and they will just, have them available or in a drawer, and they just kind of bust them out whenever the client wants to look at them. We have photographers that don't have studios and they're traveling a lot, and so a lot actually will have a bag. They'll have a bag case that has, like, say, some frame corner and maybe something else. We'll just show them at the shoot that way. But I mean, you could probably put like command strips or something on the back if you're like on a wall. A lot of people think they just they're just laying them flat in their studio somewhere in a shelf or in a drawer, and they pull them out when it's time to look at it. So here's one of those Kaylee Ashworth pictures. So this is a 12-inch circle in a 16 mat, deckled. I can put this down. Get a good feel for that. Yeah. So yeah, 8-ply. This is our Hartford frame. Deckled, no mat. Deckled, no border, sorry. 2-inch mat. There's that one. This is new. This is the Charleston. So you can see that interior kind of, it's like a warm silver. It's not like a cool silver. It has a kind of a yellow hue to it. But we liked it because we thought the clothing she wore went really well with this. You can kind of get a feel for it with the distressing, and I may lay it down here too, just so they can see. Like the light's really nice on the. So this is a deckled 8x10 with a border 2-inch mat. So it's a 15 opening. All right, so this, we asked our pictures in a frame. So here's another example of that. So this is Lee Rips. She's one of our top clients, has been for years. And so these are 3 5x7s. Like newborn, 6 months and a year situation. So this is adult. Let me see. Try to get that more centered for everybody. Yeah, really nice. So I think nurseries and newborns and things. Okay, let's do questions.
Do you do a custom really large frame?
Maybe. I've never. So that's one we've never tried. I've never actually tried to cut multiple circle openings in a mat before. We should be able to with our mat cutter. Yeah, I think you'd need to email us, and we would need to attempt it first. But I think it should be the same process as what we do with the square openings. So I don't see why we shouldn't. But I haven't done one yet, but I think so. Yeah.
Another matting question: can we do a double mat?
Yeah, so I've done that in the past. When I've done that, I would do it in 4-ply, so two 4-ply. So yeah, so I wouldn't double mat with 8-ply because it's going to get super thick, and it would kind of bump us into probably a different price category. But for a double mat, I have done it. You would just request it in the order notes, and we would do it with 4-ply though. And we do basically the middle layer that you reveal is like a 1/4 inch. It shows that, and then the top layer is like the opening's a 1/4 inch bigger essentially. So you'll have a 1/4 inch double mat all around. But we can, yep.
What's the anticipated wait time from deckled frame?
Frames normally take about 3 weeks on a turn. We're still getting caught from the rush because stuff went kind of crazy. But in February we'll be back for a regular week turnaround. We're almost caught up. So.
And then a question about acrylic versus glass. It's been taught not to use glass. How can you help us understand why or why not?
I mean, glass is still great. We don't use it just because shipping it will break, and it's heavy, and so shipping glass is the biggest pain ever, and so we just don't want to deal with it. So that's why a lot of labs do acrylic. It is it is a lot heavier. So like for your clients dealing with glass, there's a higher risk that it can break. Or especially if they're moving, it just makes that object a lot heavier. So if it shatters, there's a chance it could damage the artwork. Where an acrylic is shatterproof, it can't break it. The worst thing that would happen is you would just scratch the acrylic, and they could take it to a framer and just replace it. But the artwork would always be safe. But yeah, acrylic's lighter and just easier to ship. So that's why we use it. But the properties of it in terms of longevity are fantastic. So yeah, we love acrylic. So this is any other questions? I'm going to show this one off, but okay. So this is a Columbia frame. This is Cody Myers. He used to work here, but these are some of his images. But so these are 2 horizontal and a vertical 5x7. So just kind of showing the different matting options we do. Normally do 1 inch apart, but stuff like this, just email us and we can help you make this and tell you what price to do. So here is another Venetian gold. So this is a deckled, but we bottom weighted it. So this is one of those kind of custom requests. This is an 8x12 decal, I think in a 20x20 frame. I'll lay this down in because I think it'll be easier to see the. Just see. So I mean, but I personally really love it. I think it adds a nice design element, and you can see the 8-ply just how deep it is and how luxurious it is, versus the 4-ply. That's another decal with border. Frames. Any other framing questions? Leave the framing section. One more. All right. Oh, do we have that other or no? There should be a deckled one too. I'll see if I show this camera. So this is a mat. This is our 1.5 inch white maple. But the premium frames, when we do, I don't know if we can even show this, Andy, maybe it'd be top down. So in here, we put spacers. So when we do a premium frame spacer, it's actually matching wood. So they actually cut white maple spacer to match the white maple outer frame. So if you do a satin black walnut, they would have a satin black walnut spacer on the inside. But we only do that for no mats. But just so you can kind of see. Oh. So deckled no mat. So that was a straight edge no mat frame. So if we're doing a deckled no mat, it's a little different. So we actually add just a 1-inch white border on the outside. And so the print is floated onto the back mat that's a little bit bigger, and then we put spacers inside so that the print doesn't touch the acrylic. But so that's a slight difference on the decal no mat versus a straight edge print that's no mat.
Got questions about
Yeah.
ordering samples, like if we have a sample discount.
Yes, we do have sample discount on anything and everything we offer, except for test prints and frame corners. But you'll just, when you check out, just enter the code SAMPLE. So it's one word sample, all capital letters, and it will take 25% off your order. So, yep. So just, yeah, discount code SAMPLE, all caps, check out, 25% off. It's available all the time whenever you want. So anytime you need a new studio sample, just go ahead and enter that in.